All right, so I'm going to go somewhat partially deep dive into using Illustrator. So this is not going to be an in-depth tutorial on using Illustrator. That would be hours to go through everything you might or could do. But hopefully we'll go through some of the basic tools if you're not already familiar with them, and hopefully maybe show you some tips and tricks on how you can maybe do some things you didn't realize you could do and speed up your workflow. So yeah. All right. So as Nick said, UQ has a license for Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. So a range of applications in there. Photoshop, which we didn't really mention, can be used for pixel-based image manipulation, like adjusting contrast, color balance of images, cropping, rotating images, applying filters, etc. There is some pushback sometimes with some journals not wanting people to use Photoshop. It has a bit of a bad reputation because it has been used or can be used to manipulate images in an inappropriate way. The reality is, at least in my opinion, the things that you can do in Photoshop that are unethical, you could do in Fiji or other image analysis applications. It's not, the problem is not Photoshop itself, but how people use it. That being said, because you can do those things in the image analysis applications and time issues, I'm not going to go into using Photoshop today. We are going to go into Illustrator. So Illustrator is a vector graphics application. So it's designed to use essentially vector graphics which don't, which can scale up to any size and not have any drop in resolution. So with an image like Photoshop, if you put the file into Photoshop and it's a 5 centimeter square image, and you blow it up to 25 centimeters squared, it's probably going to look like crap. Whereas in Illustrator, your vector graphics in Illustrator, you can blow a 5 centimeter square image up into a 5 meter square image, and it'll still look nice and crisp. So that's pretty much what it's designed for, or that's what it's really good at. But you can add raster images, so pixel-based images to it, but you do have to be careful how you work with those. So we're going to go through how you would add your data to it, align those images, set that all up. As Nick was saying, InDesign is probably is a good option for actually putting your figures together. I think the main advantage of InDesign is, as Nick was saying, it's an actual publication, application designed for generating publications. And so some of the tools available in that will sort of help you, bring together your, pixel-based images, your vector-based images, any other sort of stuff you want to put in there. Particularly if you're putting a post together, InDesign can be beneficial because it does have those spell check and grammar check tools. So in a poster where you might actually have sections with a lot of text, your figure legends, etc., having those sorts of tools in the application you're working with can be an advantage. If you're just putting a figure together for, to go into a publication, you probably don't have a lot of text in the figure. You'll have some figure legends, axis labels, that sort of thing. So the loss of those spell check tools is probably not crucial. And again, certainly I'm much more used to using Illustrator than InDesign, and it'll certainly do what you want for putting your figures together. And of course, Adobe Premiere, Nick went through, is for editing movies. So, all right, so using Illustrator, so Nick went through this. When you start your application, it's worthwhile spending a little bit of time when you start using it to customize your workspaces. So, this will make it more efficient for you to have the tools that you're going to use on a regular basis easily accessible. So, you know, from the window menu at the top of the page, you can basically select your workspace. Now, there are a bunch of existing workspaces that are already available to you. You know, you can start with one of those. The Essentials or Essentials Classic is probably a good place to start. But then you'll probably want to potentially add specific tool panels that you're going to use to it. So you can select tool panels from, I think this is a, so you can select tool panels from the Windows menu, and then you can click and drag them into your tool panel on the side. Once you're happy with the panels you've got there and the arrangement of them, you can then save that as a workspace. It's just going to keep playing. This one loops. So yeah, so once you're happy with it, save that as a workspace. And as Nick said, you can load that workspace up anytime you open the application. If you happen to, you know, turn one of those panels off or close it, you can reset the workspace and bring it back again. It may be worth having different workspaces depending on the type of work you're doing. So the types of tools you might use for laying your figure out and arranging it might be different to the sort of tools you're going to use if you were developing some, you know, sort of graphical artwork. And so you can have different workspaces depending on the tasks you're